What is up, everybody? This is John with Archer Film. Okay, I've been dying to talk about this movie. I saw it opening weekend. I was looking really forward to it, and I was not disappointed. The movie is Obsession. Probably the most successful horror movie since Blair Witch Project or possibly Paranormal Activity. Paranormal Activity was okay. It was a fun little thing, but I don't think anything has hit as hard since Blair Witch. Now, Obsession is very disturbing and dark and very meaningful, but I wouldn't say it's all that scary. To me, Undertone is the scariest movie of the year. It just kind of failed to stick the ending, which, of course, Obsession does, in my opinion. So I wanted to sit with this movie before I made a video. I wanted to look at the discourse around it, and I wanted to just think about it because I've just been reflecting so much since this movie. And I haven't even thought about a movie like this hard since maybe I saw a TV Glow. So I've been seeing every horror movie. That's what I do. I love horror. I watch them all. I watched Passenger last week. I'm going to see Backrooms this week. So Bone Temple to me is the smartest horror movie of the year. Undertone is the scariest. Hokum was a really great folk horror movie with some great imagery. But Obsession is something else entirely. Anytime a young filmmaker gets a chance at a first film, I'm just first in line. I love it. I love the ingenuity of the movie Good Boy, where the guy shot it with his dog in his house, and it's genuinely scary and such a unique take on a horror. It's just brilliant, if not a little confusing in the end, but it was still great. I love do-it-yourself horror. That includes the YouTube horror scene. I watch every, short horror that's on there, on Alter and things like that. And I even have some friends and acquaintances that have, posted horror stuff on Alter to, really good results. So I'm really into this world. It's something that I've loved for a very long time. Obsession is near perfect. There is one flaw, which I'll get into later, but I really want to get into the relationship dynamics at the center of this, which is why I think it is a new classic horror movie. It's already grossed over $100 million in the 3 weeks it's been out, which is crazy. And now all the studios are throwing money at Barker now, like $10 million to do whatever he wants. So I just hope that he keeps making good stuff. It was really smart of him to shoot back-to-back movies because his next one, Anything But Ghosts, is already finished. I just hope he doesn't sell out too quick. I know he's making Texas Chainsaw, and, watching his short movie, The Chair, which didn't really impress me, but off of Obsession, I go back to it, and I'm like, okay, I see what he's doing here with the female leads. It's really interesting stuff. So I'm hoping that he dives into that sort of psychology in Texas Chainsaw. But anyway, dealing with Obsession, first off, the performances are fantastic. The two leads are great. Indy Navarrete obviously steals the show, but Michael Johnston is great too. He's just so perfect in that role, and she's so unhinged and unsettling at times that it made me cringe in that good horror film way. There are so many scenes that make you uncomfortable or they make you laugh with nervousness. Like people in the audience with me were like laughing at the same uncomfortable stuff because it is just so well done. It's the perfect marriage of concept, execution, and theme. The way Talk to Me took something as simple as demonic possession, but made it a party trick with these teens like it was a drug, was pure genius. It's the same as wishing for this romantic love of his platonic best friend, and then her fighting with herself throughout the movie. That was equally brilliant to me. That is what makes this movie. It's plotted perfectly, performances are perfect, but it's that relationship, her fighting with herself, and him seeing glimpses of that, which make this an absolute brilliant piece of writing. What sets us apart from other movies, not just the blood and brutality or the monkey's paw concept, which was great, but it is that relationship dynamic at its core. That is what everyone is responding to. If you're a male, and I am going to do some gender-biased things here because I am a male, but if you're a male, perhaps the crazy ex-girlfriend or the clingy codependent partner rings true. If you've ever been with someone with bipolar disorder or any other mental illness, but you still love them, the horror is real. Before I go on, let me get the flaw out of the way. Curry Barker, this is for you. Listen, you need an editor. So the success of the film and the brilliance may outweigh the fact that there is a tonal pacing problem in the first act. But it was so obvious that it made me like, I spotted it right away, which took me out of the story. Now, it gets better and it gets a little bit tighter as the movie goes on, but I could feel that there was a tonal pacing problem. Not intentional tone done with, editing and lighting and all that stuff or camera angles, but it was a lack of pacing. You need to know when to cut to the other person during these heavy dialogue scenes, stuff like that. Something a pro editor would have fixed. Now, I saw this, and then when I saw the credits and saw that Barker had edited himself, I was like, yeah, it shows. It's nitpicking, for sure, but it will come handy in his future films. So hire a professional editor, please. The other part of the relationship dynamic, if you're a woman, and this is based on my exchanges with people, asking people questions, and just the dialogue around it, the idea of the nice guy and body autonomy, that's fascinating to me. So after Bear makes the wish, she struggles with herself. She sees him as a friend, and he wants to be loved more than anything. And in my opinion, his yearning for love and his version of love, which is a physical relationship with this girl, outweighs his morality. So every clickbait online idiot, who wants a dialogue and they want clicks and they want people to respond to their video is saying, oh, Nikki isn't the villain. And if you think so, you're telling on yourself. Yeah. That's obvious. Like Barker went on, different interviews and said, oh, Nikki isn't the villain. Nikki isn't the villain. Yeah, we get it. You don't have to tell us that she's the villain. We understand. We see her fighting with herself. We know she's not the villain, okay? But there is nuance to this. Again, people responded because if you've ever been in a relationship with someone who's a little crazy, like, yes, this kind of, it rings true to you. And if you're a woman, the nice guy or the body autonomy or someone taking advantage of something, that rings true to you. And to me, it all rang true. It all looked like there's something authentic and brilliant to this way of storytelling. Now, my question is does Nikki have any accountability before the wish gets made? Accountability for her lifestyle, accountability for not, letting Bear off the hook and just like, she's almost like, oh, just say what you got to say. Oh, just, get it out. But if she knows, like they've been close friends for a long time, and I would argue they're best friends, seeing as they talk to each other on the phone all the time, and the vibe between them is that they are best friends. So does she bear any responsibility in, letting him off the hook, or does she have any responsibility in not living kind of a horrible lifestyle that she doesn't even like? Now, she's having a relationship with a guy that she doesn't like in Ian. She's having a completely superficial physical one with him, which she doesn't like. She obviously yearns for love. She's writing this book that's about the truth of love, right? So in the beginning, they both yearn for love. And I'm very sympathetic to Bear in the beginning because his only flaw is that he yearns for love. In fact, in the script, it's not him, practicing his speech in front of Ian. It's him watching some love story. Now, my generation grew up with looking for the one, in true love was paramount. And in this day and age, this modern, tech, social media, hookup culture, whatever it is, love doesn't seem to be the priority. Finding the one doesn't seem to be the priority. And I feel like romantic love is disappearing completely. When you have people go online and they announce the kinds of women or men that they want, it's all this superficial stuff. So I do empathize with Bear in the beginning. And then, of course, as it goes on, he's not just a pussy in the beginning, but he's a monster. There's a scene when she's talking to him as herself, and he is unempathetic and walks out. In the script, it says he lacks empathy in that moment and walks out. So, yes, I understand he's a monster. I understand he's unempathetic. I understand that, he did this to Nikki. Not that he knew it was going to happen. Not that he knew that the wish would work. But I like to think of the nuance in, Gen Z in general. Her behavior's okay, having, a superficial relationship with part of their friend group, too. And trying to keep it a secret. And his yearning for love and, not having the balls to say something. I think those two things are really interesting to me. And I wanted to know, does she bear any responsibility in the beginning, right? And what I notice is women online and some of these guys are like, no, she's completely the victim the whole time, and like she has no responsibility. I'm like, really? None at all? Like to her friend, to, her friend group, or even to herself for not living this sort of shallow existence? And it's just a question. That's all. People piled on. They called me misogynist. They called me a patriarchal, blah, 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 whatever online. And I just don't care about that. What I care about is the question and why people would sort of, accept that like he's evil and she's not. Because in my opinion, Bear does love her. We can assume this, even if it's only in his specific way. And films like Betty Blue or Woman Under the Influence, specifically Betty Blue, it's a man trying to love a mentally ill woman regardless of it. So he just doesn't know how to help her or how to love her in any way. Now, I know that's different, but that is one of the themes that has emerged from this movie because of her behavior and why people resonate with it. So anyway, I'm just asking that question. I feel for his loneliness. Obviously, she is the victim, but Bear's the one that pays for it in the end, which I loved. So that is all. Lastly, I highly recommend this movie. I think it is great. It's one of my favorite horror movies in a very long time. I thought the thematic elements were so brilliant that people are going to be talking about it. That is why this is over 100 million grossing. And I'm super excited for this whole crop of young horror filmmakers coming out. Going to see Backrooms this week. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff. All right, I'll see you in the next video.